Today's new release is a game changer. For the last couple of years, I've been keeping stats of each one of our trading systems' performance, and now I have put it in our trading signals and I let you show all the trades or only the highest probability trades that worked in the past. So when you add our FX trade signals, you will now see an option to show all trades. If you only want to see the highest probability trades, you uncheck this. But even if you do check this, you'll see on the chart which trades are high probability and which ones are newer ones, haven't been tested that much in real trading, and so forth. They show up in orange. The red and green ones are the highest probability ones. So looking at the last 2 days, these have performed worse in the past. Some of them happened to work. Some of them worked really well. This was risky and lost. This was risky and lost. Same thing here. This is a high probability trade that worked. This is a high probability trade that made a little bit, and you can see this was a risky trade. Now, if you use other tools in combination with our FX trade signals, like our containment bands, moving averages, pivot points, our range projection, and many of our other unique tools, you can improve your odds. I also really like these 50-bar linear regression channels. So if the market's trending down, comes up and hits one of these, and I get one of my signals, I'm going to be more apt to take it. So let's look at some of the other currencies and just showcase how the signals look. And notice, like I said before, when you get a trend and it hits these upper bands, they're very high probability. So this one right here I would have taken, even though it's a little bit higher probability. This one's right near that upper band. I would have taken that. Good for 25, 30 pips. Now let's remove that option, and you'll see most of those trades won't show up. If I'm not showing the riskier trades, and when I say riskier, it's just ones that have a lower probability in the past or are new and haven't been tested. So, therefore they are riskier. Doesn't mean they don't find tons of pips. So you can see there was not a single trade because they're all risky. If we scroll back into the past, you can see this one here worked, this trade here worked, this one failed, but the market kind of went sideways for a while, and it's pretty clear to see that this was an uptrend and it was over the previous high, so you could have passed on that one if you wanted to. And oftentimes the reasons for these trades still are oftentimes into effect later on. So when you see a trade that fails, you can always draw your fibs on that move and look to get in again at a higher level, even if there's no pattern that shows up. Notice this high probability trade also worked. So you'll have a lot less trades if you uncheck that box. It only shows the highest probability patterns. Now remember, there's over 5,800 different patterns, and I don't remember the exact number of the ones that have been tested with high winning percentages, but it's far less than half of all the patterns are going to show up. So you might want to just put on the show risky trades, but they'll show up in orange. So that way you can see them, and some of them you might take and some of them you might not take, but it gives you the option. Here you can see the orange ones. This is in a pretty big downtrend, so I probably would have passed on this. This one is a little bit more probability because the market went down and went up a little bit, came down. You can always take a shot at it. Sometimes you get bounces off the low with these kind of W patterns, mini double bottoms, and so forth. Let's go to another one, dollar CAD. And you can see how often these linear regression bands kind of contain price and price bounce off them. And we have a ton of other tools to do the same thing. So here we have the market going up a lot. This is the first wave down. This is a pretty decent trade because the market went down and it had an opportunity to bounce here, it had an opportunity to bounce here, it had an opportunity, and it's just kind of going sideways. So anytime you have a move that goes sideways, it's likely to continue, and I'd much rather sell it right here than sell the low, which it's likely to hit this band and possibly reverse and stall. So you get more pips selling it right here. I would have taken that trade. This trade I wouldn't have taken because it's it doesn't have that much room to go to the lower band. This one probably would have taken, and you can see it made money. So when you use our new option under FX trade signals, show riskier trades, you can either show them and they will show up, the riskier ones will show up in orange, and the high probability ones will be green for buys, red for sells, Or if you don't even want to see them at all, you can undo it. You might, on some pairs like maybe the Swiss yen and so forth, you may want to only see the high probability trades just so you're not tempted. It's up to you. You have the option. You can see this day, every single one of the trades was a riskier trade. This one really didn't work. This one made a little bit of money. This one failed. This one failed. This one made a ton of money. So again, when you see these fail, oftentimes, even if this pattern didn't show up here, oftentimes, you can draw your swings on this. And it's right at the 78% level. So this one's at the 50. It might work. The 60 is a little bit higher probability, and the 78% is even higher. So you might have taken this one and this one, lost once, and made a huge amount on that one. And you can see on the bottom here, this is a very strong downtrend. I would have probably passed on that. But maybe once it kind of stalls, you might have went long right here. That didn't work. Went long right here and made money. So you can always use those and bands and many of our other tools to pick and choose which ones. Like right here, this is in the middle. I probably wouldn't have taken that. But if this buy pattern would have happened at the lower band, I might have. This one is not quite at that level. And you might be looking at this area to possibly sell, but it shot right through there. So that invalidates that sell signal. So this should improve people's trading if you pick and choose, and especially if you pick right. Obviously, you can tell some of them are huge wins. All the losses are typically smaller.